Haiti is facing one of the most serious displacement crises in its recent history. For more than 1 million people have left their homes in 2024. In Palestine, fuel crisis threatened the functioning of health facilities, sanitation, and water services in the Gaza Strip. And in South Korea, police forces arrested ousted President Yoon Suk-Yeol, making him the first sitting president to be arrested. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. We now begin with the information. Haiti is facing one of the most serious displacement crises in its recent history. According to the International Organization for Migration, more than 1 million people left their homes in 2024. The United Nations organization identifies the wave of violence imposed by criminal groups as the root cause. Port-au-Prince, the capital of the country, is one of the cities most affected by the phenomenon, given that over 80% of the city is controlled by the coalition of criminal groups living together. According to Kennedy Okoth, the spokesperson for the IOM, the numbers will have tripled when compared to 2023, especially in the capital, where displacement has increased by 87%.
In December 2023, we did record around 315,000 people who were displaced from the violence. 1 year since then, we have seen the number tripled to over 1 million people who have now been displaced because of gang violence in Haiti. This is a really troubling number, and it represents the security situation that most Haitians are currently.
President Claudia Sheinbaum presented the Mexico Plan, a national and social economic development agenda made up of 13 goals whose objective is to reduce poverty and inequality. Antonio Aranda brings us more details.
Mexico seeks to consolidate its position as one of the most economically developed countries by attracting foreign investment and strengthening the domestic market through the Mexico Plan. Miguel is a walnut producer. His seeds follow an artisanal process, and he believes that the strategy should be an opportunity to technify the field.
It is important to consume national products. In my case, I support agriculture. In the countryside, the main problem is technification. We are far behind our main competitors in walnuts, the United States. They are very technified and reduce many costs. We have to spend a lot of money to do it in a more traditional way, and that creates a disadvantage for us.
Substituting imports and increasing domestic content in manufacturing is part of the Mexico Plan. Carolina acknowledges that this protects domestic jobs.
Incrementamos la economía del país.
With the plan, we increase the country's economy and we favor jobs and, in general, the country's economy as a whole.
Toda la economía del país evitamos tanto producto de importación.
We avoid importing so many products, and the products that we consume are at better prices. And on the other hand, we strengthen the entire agricultural sector.
Favorecemos toda la parte del campo.
The Mexico Plan is a public, private, and foreign investment route for at least $277 billion, which seeks the integration of North America.
This speaks to us, or is a reflection of what Claudia Sheinbaum is looking for during her 6-year term. We can take this as the real national development plan. I would like to highlight that in general there are several components of the plan that wink at the new United States administration. That is, the president seeks to integrate the North American region. She seeks to increase Mexican production and replace imports from China, which is a priority issue for the new United States administration.
La presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum President Claudia Sheinbaum aims to make Mexico's economy number 10 in the world, but without neglecting social equity and well-being.
In reality, it is a vision of the development of our country that is equitable, sustainable, of industrialization, of economic growth. Yes, but above all of well-being for our people and of benefit for everyone.
Textiles, automotive, pharmaceuticals, agribusiness, and electromobility are some of the key sectors to be developed. Through a portfolio of more than 2,000 projects that will allow the creation of at least 1.5 million additional jobs in specialized manufacturing by 2030.
TeleSUR, Ciudad de México.
And in other news, the Anti-Fascist International Guatemala chapter repudiated the visit of the Venezuelan fugitive from justice, Edmundo González, to the country, demanding that the government of Bernardo Arévalo to cease its support of the impositions of imperialism against Venezuela.
The Anti-Fascist International Guatemala chapter, in the name of the will towards peace that characterizes the noble people of Guatemala, expresses its most energetic rejection of the arrival of Edmundo González Urrutia to our national territory. This person represents death, terrorism, and imperialist interference against the sovereignty of the brotherly people of Venezuela. His presence in our country is a direct attack on the values of peace, justice, and solidarity that guide our anti-fascist struggle in the defense of the peoples of Latin America. As Guatemalans committed to peace, we demand that Bernardo Arévalo and his government stop lending themselves to the impositions of North American imperialism that manifest their support for this person and their attacks against the sovereign will of the Venezuelan people who elected Nicolas Maduro as their president.
Likewise, the Anti-Fascist International Guatemala chapter also repudiated the aggressions to the Venezuelan diplomatic headquarters, which threaten its national sovereignty.
We repudiate the fascist and interfering actions that some Venezuelan embassies have suffered, thus attacking its sovereignty. We call on governments not to allow actions against Venezuelan goods and territory located in other countries. We express our commitment to defend and resist together with the Venezuelan people in our struggle against fascism. Down with fascism, down with fascism, down with fascism.
And now we have a short break coming up, but first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. We continue with the information. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele defended the reactivation of metallic mining on the grounds that if rivers get polluted due to his project, it is because they were clean. It is negative consequences. The Salvadoran legislation had banned the practice that Bukele is now willing to reactivate. The president categorically assured that the mining is not linked to rivers pollution, but showed no specific evidence of his criteria. In contrast, studies endorsed by the United Nations unfolded that 90% of industrial extractive operations use cyanide. That is why experts have asked the executive and the legislature to disregard this initiative. And we go now to Palestine, as the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs warns that the fuel crisis in Gaza continues to threaten the functioning of health facilities in the Strip. The agency has said that Gaza's partially functioning hospitals lack fuel reserves and rely on partial deliveries from international agencies to safeguard only the most critical services. The shortages could also put 75 hemodialysis machines out of service across the Strip, threatening the lives of some 700 patients that suffer from kidney disease. According to the humanitarian agency, the crisis has been triggered by the Israeli blockade of Gaza and is directly affecting the medical care of 2,000 patients in Deir al-Balah, Han Yunis and Rafah, and a further 220 in the north of the enclave. Also in this context, the UN humanitarian agency also warns that water, sanitation and hygiene facilities in Gaza are at risk of being paralyzed by lack of fuel. All of this has forced aid groups to make impossible choices, such as having to decide daily between supplying water, pumping sewage, repairing water or sewage leaks, or moving solid waste. This has aggravated living conditions for displaced people surviving on extremely limited quantities of drinking water, cooking and personal hygiene products, and exacerbating the spread of pests, infectious diseases, and other public health risks. Gaza is redefining the wounds of war, so say medical surgeons, referring to injuries caused by U.S. bombs sent to Israel and used against women and children in the Strip. Based on field studies, Save the Children claims in its latest report that the occupation and its U.S. partner mutilated 15 Palestinian children every day during 2024. At least 5,230 children have sustained injuries that require significant rehabilitation support. In addition, Israel prevents them from receiving treatment, so they do not receive prostheses, medicines, or rehabilitation, condemning them early to pathologies typical of people over 80 years of age. And the Yemeni army claimed responsibility for the missile attack that hit an Israeli power plant on Wednesday. The Houthis explained that they carried out a military operation with a cruise missile against the enemy power plant of al-Rashash, located in the city of Eilat in the south of occupied Palestine. They also declared that they sent several drones to several Israeli installations in Tel Aviv, assuring that all of them were successful military operations. The Yemeni government ratified that as long as Israel besieges the Palestinian people, they will maintain their attacks against the Israeli forces. And now we have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you will be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back from the south. In South Korea, police forces arrested ousted President Yoon Suk-Yeol on Wednesday, making him the first sitting president to be arrested. The president, dismissed for his brief imposition of martial law, was involved in several incidents before he was finally arrested at 10:33 a.m. local time on Wednesday. According to information from the Bureau for High-Level Official Corruption Cases, Yoon went to the agency's headquarters for questioning. The president previously recorded a message to the country stating that he would submit to justice to prevent bloodshed. And in the United States, fires continue to rage in Los Angeles as people try to protect their belongings and homes. Let's take a closer look with our colleague Luis Gutierrez.
This man works as a janitor at this building in Pacific Palisades, the hardest hit by the fires in California. He stayed behind to watch the place and managed to keep it from catching fire using garden hoses and the support of firefighters.
But it actually had spread to the property of the building next door. So I was just putting as much water down onto the bottom as I could and just actually doing a decent job of tamping it down.
For Ridgway, it was a necessary mission.
I felt like there was a duty to at least make sure that was attempted to be saved if possible. And also, you know, even if it didn't come here, if none of this really had happened, there still would have been the possibility of outsiders coming in and looters and stealing and stuff. And so
the collection centers have been crucial for those who have lost their belongings or remain evacuated amidst uncertainty for their homes.
The street I live on, everybody on one side of the street, all their houses are entirely wiped out. And on my side of the street, starting with my house and a few neighbors down, maybe about 4 houses stood up and everybody else lost their homes. And my house is standing, yes, but we don't know what condition it's in. So, yeah, we haven't been able to go back to check. They won't let us.
For firefighters, putting out fires in high winds has become a difficult task.
Some days are harder than others.
How hard?
After the first day, many people that I've known for a long time in base camp barely recognized me. My phone didn't recognize me to turn on, just dirty, tired. But today will be not so bad. Steep, a good hike, but we'll pace ourselves and drink lots of water and be ready for a long haul of work here and the next fire. But it's January. We're not supposed to be to fires in January.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here, you know, serving the community, paying my debt to society, just giving back to the people, you know, of the community. That's lost a lot.
But returning Los Angeles to their previous state will cost time and resources.
It's going to cost tens of billions of dollars to get Los Angeles back to where it was. So we're going to need Congress to step up to provide funding to get this done. And we're going to get that done, God willing.
Firefighters and local and national authorities will be put to the test as they must navigate the strong winds that are expected.
Luis Gutierrez, teleSUR, Los Angeles.
In this context, the Iranian government reported that the Red Crescent offered to assist the United States to fight off the wildfires raging in Los Angeles, but Washington turned it down and asked Iran for money instead. Hossein Kulivand, head of the Iranian Red Crescent Society, explained that he sent a letter to the director of the U.S. Red Cross to not only express condolences for the victims and their families, but also to help Los Angeles with experts, equipment, and logistics. However, the U.S. counterpart appreciated the vid, but he limited himself to request financial assistance. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and also on TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.